Yeah, wrong'uns. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. I've only got these on for a couple of minutes while I have a look at your messages, but welcome to the body of the Kirk. Whilst my printer settles down. So tonight's sermon will include as let me just do this, as a subject matter. We will be talking showbiz. I've got some nice little showbiz tidbits that you won't be hearing anywhere else. We're going to talk about the Royals. My instincts telling me something. We'll talk about America. America on the precipice. I'm not talking politically either. Oh, do you want to talk Hollywood, P. Diddy, and the music industry? My word, it's all coming down around their ears. We'll talk about the Clown House. Yeah. Mike Tyson. And when was the last time you had a curly whirly in your hand? Leave the Battenberg alone. Just don't be fingering a curly whirly, because that will get you jail time. So we will get to the sermon in just a moment, but to welcome everyone into the body of the Kirk. No, I can't tell you where I've been. I've been an international man of mystery. I did say to you last Wednesday, no live on Sunday. Just couldn't, just not enough hours in the day. If you can have a word with the big lad upstairs and ask him to add a couple of hours for me and stick a broom shank up my derriere and I'll sweep the house while I'm going, then I might multitask, but I'm a bloke. We blokes don't multitask. Anyway, Andrew James says, Howard Stern was toady last night with camel toe. Stern was cosy with... Andrew... Stern was cosy with P. Diddy for a number of years. Yes, he was at P. Diddy's white parties. Stern has become everything he hated. Do the Dems have Stern's VHS tapes of an certain island? Oh, I don't know. You could say that, Andrew James, but I can't possibly comment. But yeah, I think Stern's done. He's finished. He's jumped the shark. I mean, the minute he did it, was it America's Got Talent? No. I mean, even when he did Fart Man for the MTV Awards, I still thought that was pushing it. But the minute he went on to Sirius, is he being serious? When he did Sirius and he was paid like hundreds of millions of dollars, then money's obviously going to make things a little more loose, shall we say. And we are talking P. Diddy. Well, we will see. We'll talk about that as the live goes on. Let me just have a look. Yeah, welcome. Everybody's getting their feet under the table. And please, if you can, two things. One, if you could smash the likes as you come into the body of the Kirk, that would be much appreciated. It tells YouTube, oi, this is a good channel and we like it. So it helps the channel massively. And please, if you can, allow people to get into the body of the Kirk, into the pews. No pew wars this evening. It is a Wednesday, of course. And secondly, if you're on X, get on there. I'm putting all kinds of truths on X that we can't on here because we get told off. Lead says, evening, Adrian. Your mob were embarrassing the other day, celebrating an equaliser like he'd won the Champions League. No offence, none taken. But to be fair, Leeds are playing well, one of the best sides in the Championship. So for us to get an equaliser in the 97th minute because your bloody goalkeeper was wasting too much time. Yeah, cheating bastards. Oh, remember 73, by the way. So, we'll take it. They're only young kids, man. Most of them are only 15, including Chris Rigg. I think he's only just turned 16, 17. Even Joe Bellingham's, he's 19 at the moment, 20. So they're all young kids, and they're playing for the shirt, which is more than some of the old pros that we've had who've taken like 10 grand a week and done absolutely naff all for it. Some of them have been jailed. We shan't talk about those. But Leeds, I think it's going to be a fabulous season. I think there's some great sides. Sheffield United haven't lost a match yet. We are top of the league by goal difference, and I'll take that at this point in the season. I'll take that. And who else is it? I think Barnsley are going to be thereabouts. Leeds, Sunderland, Sheffield United, and the usual suspects: Borough, Blackburn, West Brom. It's a fabulous little league. None of the the Johnny Big Bollocks in the Premier League. Manchester City have gotten away with that. So I think that as much as it might have irked the Leeds supporters, I'm ever thankful that we managed to get the equaliser, because at the end of the season that goal might come in handy, if you know what I mean. Stuart, evening double A. Good to have you back. I've brought with me some extra Battenberg, so if anybody wants extra, I've got plenty. Oh, you tart, Stuart. Yeah, utter wrong. Theo Bovril, evening all. Is Starmer's Victoria sponge cake trans, then? No, we can't have Victoria or sponge, Bob, in this body of the Kirk. It has to be Battenberg or Nout, as a northerner once opined. But welcome into the body of the Kirk, the old Bovril. Martin Sullivan, good to have you back, young sir. He says, hello, Adrian. I assume you've heard the news about Johnny Walker. Did you have many dealings with this broadcasting legend? I think he will be doing one last show. Obviously, he's second only to you in the broadcasting stakes. Oh, you smooth talker, Martin. We kind of, long time ago, I didn't glad hand him, because it was it's unacceptable in those circles to go, oh, I'm a fan. I did that to Simon Bates. What did he do? Cut me bollocks. So I have, but I haven't, sort of. And I know that he talked about his situation a few months ago, 6 months ago, said he didn't have long. And it's really, I'm kind of going to touch on it in the sermon tonight, because things are, feels uncertain, and losing our stability, whether it be our broadcasting legends, Johnny Walker or Steve Wright and or others. It just feels like things are not. Anyway, I'll talk about it, Martin, when I want to talk about uncertainty and the metaphorical choppy waters that we're in at the moment. Leah, evening, Adrian. You were missed last Sunday. Hope you're doing well. Evening, everyone, says Leah. Yeah, wrong, and Leah. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. Paulie Galtieri. All right, Adrian. Yeah, wrong. All right, Paulie. Yeah, utter wrong. And Super Ted says, evening, Adrian. Looking forward to tonight's show. I'll be listening to you whilst watching what is going on in Florida. Yeah, it hits landfall tonight, doesn't it? Hurricane Milton. I've been watching some of the reportage, and so, I mean, I know that the mainstream media are there to kind of scare the bejesus out of us, but there was one weather girl going, well, this is 3 feet, this is 9 feet, and there's every chance it's going to reach 15 feet. And you just think, wow, that's like, first floor of most houses in Florida. So the Floridians and the Americans, I wish them well. I hope that it kind of eases as it gets into landfall. But I am going to talk about America tonight, and in Kamala Harris, the alcoholic, because the mainstream media in America are now saying, oh, I think she might be a bit squiffy. And I was telling you this, like, when she got the nomination, I said, oh, she's an alcoholic. You can see it a mile away. And they, as I told you a few weeks ago, the cocaine in the White House seemingly was Kamala's. Oh, I say, camel toe, what are you doing? Yes, so thank you, Super Ted. Yeah, wrong. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. Make sure we can get everybody in. There's still plenty of room for the more well upholstered derriere, shall we say. I know as we get older, we get a little broader in the beam, but it is the body of the Kirk. It is the Church of the Battenberg, the Holy Battenberg. You know why it's called Holy Battenberg, don't you? It's for the wrong holy. Andrew James says, will the Rev crash into the Kirk on a Lambretta whilst clutching an Italian man bag? Oh, I say, Andrew James, what can I say? Bloody Venice? Bloody what, oh? Full of bloody canals and bridges. I mean, how is one supposed to stay dry? There's gag in there somewhere. Bovril, a bit windy in Florida. Seems the hurricane has not landed yet. Oh, now it's only a Category 4. Oh, bugger me. It's only a Category 4. Helena was Category 5, I think, which was a bit worse. I do hope that it kind of eases as it reaches landfall, because I did watch a little video of the American sort of these hurricane hunters or tornado hunters, and they've got these planes, and it's a bit like being on Ryanair. All of a sudden, you just go, boom. Oh, that was a little turbulence, a bit of an air pocket, what-oh? And they hit. They got into the storm. Oi, 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 oi. I was thinking, well, that'll cure your constipation. I thought I could never sit on that and go, oh, what? Oh, it's fabulous. It's a bit choppy in the old chopper. But I mean, they didn't even flinch. They just went, oh, can you pass me forward over? I just want to check me texts. Yeah, utter wrong. Nick Brown says, evening, boss. Evening, Nick. Yeah, wrong. Fern's in the body of the Kirk. Evening, all. Sniff. Hang on, Fern, what's going on? Let's do that. All right. I think there's been lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of texts while I get back to... got it. Martin Sullivan. Ave Padre. Yeah, smooth talking tart, Martin. From the chair, evening, Adrian, sitting here eating Battenberg. I hope that it is the almond fondant first, or it's a bit like how do you eat your cream eggs in one. But Battenberg, it's depends how big your gob is. But I hope you, from the chair, I hope you do enjoy the Battenberg of a Wednesday and a Sunday evening at 8. In the field says, oh yeah, from the chair. Yeah, wrong. In the field, even to all, I snuck in alone Sunday evening and found Adrian Seaton Battenberg stash. Think he's a prepper. In the field, you can say that again, but you can return the Battenberg. Yeah, wrong. This is the body of an athlete, a Battenberg athlete, and it takes some feeding. So give me my cake back, you wrong. PT Ham, hi Adrian and all. Welcome, PT Ham. Welcome to the body of the cook. Kathy Harper, good evening, Reverend Allen. Easy for you to say. Try getting Kamala Harris to say that. Hang on a second. What is going on with all these texts? Right, that works. Pennine Counties, do you know, Terry Scott's, no, not Terry Scott's Curly Wurly, but I do want to, we can talk about Curly Wurly now, because it's probably the most interesting thing we're going to talk about this evening. But do you know something? You can't get a Curly Wurly for love nor money nowadays. It's 2024. Curly Wurly. You go into a shop and try and asking the man or woman behind the counter, hello, can I have a Curly Wurly? Go to the doctor's, he'll give you some cream for it. And so I've been thinking about Curly Wurlies for a couple of weeks. And I saw in my local shop a little bag of something. Yes, Curly Wurlies. I don't see any Curly Wurlies anywhere. But now what they've done is they've chopped them up. What are they calling them? Curly Wurly Wigglies or something. And you can buy them in bags. I mean, there was a time when I was a kid, and I'm sure you're with me on this, that you could buy sweets for like less than 10p or 20p. 20p was a bag of something. 20p was a massive bag of sweets, Revels or peanut treats or something. What are they called now? M&Ms. So, or a marathon, which is now was marathon, went to Snickers, and now Snickers are saying, "Oh, going to go back to marathon." Make your mind up, man. Pick a lane. So I saw this bag of Curly Wurly, and I thought, oh, better tell the congregation they're back in the shops, but they're only little bits. So it's not a Curly Wurly bar, it's a Curly Wurly miniatures. And then I was thinking, do you know, Curly Wurlies, there was a time where you had Terry Scott, the comedian, Terry and June. What a great TV series that was. Very English, very English. Well, most of the world wouldn't understand it. But Terry Scott used to dress up as a schoolboy, and he wanted his curly whirly. And then I thought, well, hang on a second. Do you know, if it was 2024, they'd complain. Look at AC/DC. Look at, what's his face? Angus Young from AC/DC. He dressed up as a schoolboy. Nobody says anything because they know he's a rock god. But Terry Scott, he's a comedian, or was, and to have him dressed up as a kid, most people will start complaining. And then if he dressed up as a woman to sell Curly Wurlies, people will go, oh, he's transphobic. He's wearing a dress. He's transphobic. And you think, hang on a second. And then if you look at English comedy, or maybe we talk about comedy tonight. Hang on a second. I need a pen to write this down. It's just come to me, so to speak. Stop making your mucky gags up, Your Honour. Yeah, comedy. Comedy icons. So if we had Terry Scott dressed as a school kid and we could get away with it, God, look at my hair. And he dressed in a I don't know, in a skirt or a thing. He'd be called transphobic in 2024. As where back in the 70s we were just thinking, curly whirlies, curly whirlies. And then I thought about comedy, and I thought, if you look at English comedy, it's seaside bawdy, B-A-W, bawdy humour. That's who we are. We laugh at ourselves gloriously. And now we're not, nobody laughs anymore. Nobody has a bit of comedy. Not even the comedians. The comedians, they're not funny anymore. Oh, and women, oh, don't get me. Last 24 hours, have you seen the newspapers about Amanda Hart? She's about as funny as piles, that woman. I look at the TV screen and I think, do I want to smash the TV screen with me hammer when it comes on? Her. Oh, she's been married at 51. I can beat that by a country mile, you dippy mare. And people think she's funny. Funny. I mean, I went to see something recently at the theatre. And can you remember Paul? Oh, man. Paul, he had a couple of top 10 hits, Dancing Party, and anyway, he was in this play, and I was talking to the rest of the family because it was a like massive family get together, and I was talking to the rest of the family, and I said, "Oh, blimey, can you remember?" And it was it just the two of us, or there was a really lovely, gentle BBC comedy thing, like rom-com comedy thing. Paul, I know you've got it before me, but I can't get to the bottom of the messages yet. And Grandma's Party or something, I think was his biggest hit. And they went, who? I said, in the 80s, he was a massive star in the 80s on TV. He had top 10 hits as a singer in the 70s, and then he did the stuff on BBC in the 80s. Nobody, oh no, they were all too young. I mean, I am 150, so, you know, being a cynical tart, I kind of go, oh, okay. But we Brits, we like it either really gentle and laugh at ourselves, or we like bawdy seaside humour. Ooh, missus. And then I thought about, can you remember the St. Trinian's films where Mike Baldwin was the spiv with a titfer and a fag on and a big camel hair coat, but he had all these young girls in stockings and suspenders and short skirts from St. Trinian's, and they were incorrigible, they were naughty, and it was British humour. Nobody batted an eyelid back in the 60s and 70s, except, you know, got me through puberty. Females in stockings and suspenders, it did me the world of good when I was trying to work hard in school. Pun intended, before you say anything. I'll wait for you. So, our humour is different from the world. The whole world, like America, don't get irony. Don't get irony. So I was thinking about Curly Wurlies and Terry Scott. Not his chocolate orange, but Curly Wurlies. And there's something to bring you, and it gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling when, like, they're bringing all the sweets and stuff. You can now go into sweet shops all over the world, like Beamish Museum. They've got a proper sweet shop, proper sweet shop where you used to go in and get. Can I have a couple of ounces of that? Back in the day when we used ounces and pounds, can I have a couple of ounces of that? And my favourite, sarsaparilla tablets. I've just had dinner as well. Could do with a dessert. Sorry. I shall continue. Good numbers this evening. Thank you very much. Don't forget, smash the likes on your way in. You're wrong. So long as you can get a seat. There's a couple of pile cushions for the ones at the back who've just had the operation. But everybody else, welcome. The Jacobite. Hi, Adrian. How much those glasses cost? Look cooler than Kia's. Not £2,000. Thank you, the Jacobite. Certainly not £2,000. But there were a few bob. I mean, I'm really cynical about, you know how, oh, come with us, you can have a free eye test. Really? And then I've worked out, oh, there's no such thing as a free lunch or a free eye test. Because then they go, oh, you need to go to, well, maybe not your experience, but you need to go to your GP. What for? It's not wrong with me. Oh, well, you might have cataracts. Behave. I've watched Tarzan in Africa, and Tarzan never had cataracts, and it's really bright sunshine that gives you cataracts. My view, before anybody has a go. I watched Johnny Weissmuller in Tarzan and Cheetah. That's an ex-girlfriend. So, not the hairy bit, the cheetah. So, there's no such thing as a free... So, if they then send you to an eye specialist and they'll go, ooh, let's have a look at that. Ooh. Why are you taking your bloody glasses off to check my eyes? Surely you would leave your glasses on to check my bad eyes, not yours. And then they go, ooh, I say, you're gonna have to pay at least £300 for a pair of glasses. What? Foxtrot Oscar, man, I'm not paying 300 quid for them. What are you talking about? I can still see you, so that's all I need to do. And then they go, oh, I say, if you don't wear glasses, then it could affect your night driving. No, it doesn't affect me night driving. I've got brilliant night vision. I can see in the middle of a forest in a pitch black. Don't need the moon or anything. I can go on manoeuvres. Less said about that, the better. But the glasses didn't cost as much as Queer Kia's, but that's just his behaviour. It's not the queer. It's different queer as in funny behaviour. Just thought I'd make sure that you understood that before anybody goes, hey, is the Labour Party watching? I do hope so, because he's not going to last very long. Thank you, the Jacobite. Carlo Edwards, hey, Rev, armed with me chocolate Battenberg. Oh, I say, what you covered? Hang on a second, Carlo. What have you done with your Battenberg for it to be chocolate covered? And what the bloody hell does it smell like? Oh, I'll move on quickly. But welcome, Carlo. Stuart watched episode 3 of Castaway. What a waste of time. Schofield just wrote 3 names on a piece of paper, threw it into the fire. The camera didn't show who he wrote. Oh, man, it's his pity party, Stuart. I did think about mentioning Scruff. He might say that I'm homophobic. Well, I'm not. And he might say, oh, well, he is just a waste of space. He thinks that him and his team and his image management company and reputational management company, a bit like Hugh Edwards, filth on his phone. And so the only thing I've got to say about Scove is I watched episode 1 and I thought, oh, my God. Isn't it wonderful how he sat there with a woman that couldn't take his name, Stephanie Law? How low could you go with an E, Stephanie? You didn't even take his name when you married him. What kind of marriage is that then? And also, he's sitting there with his daughters. Oh, let's have a look at the image. Let's have a look at, well, I've been in showbiz, telly for 40 years. I like the gubbins of telly. I didn't want to be famous. Well, Foxtrot Oscar then. Don't go back on the telly. It's really simple. You've got millions in the bank. You've got a property portfolio that your business partner, their wife, looks after. You've got millions. Why don't you just disappear? And then he was taking the mickey out of Holly. Now, that's just nastiness. And let me tell you this. I can't give you the exact words that my former manager told me, who was gay, by the way. And he said to me, oh, yeah, well, he knew in bloody 85, or was it 86, around about there, mid-80s, that Schofield was gay. And he comes out in the 2000s, go, oh, I'm gay. So why are you sitting with your wife and your kids then? Yeah, wrongin'. And then he goes on to oh man, it was all set up for telly. There'll have been negotiations left, right and centre. It'll have been storyboarded, I'm sure. And, oh no, man, I didn't watch episode 2 because it was shite. I didn't watch episode 3 because I knew it'd be shite pity party. And then I've watched the newspapers over the last couple of days. He's stringing this story out for all it's worth. Phillip, mate, Foxtrot Oscar, don't. Just go. We don't want to see your growler on some street corner, little Alfie. I mean, fancy using your growler to get into... his daughter's his manager now, so... no, we don't need that anymore. Just off. And I mean, I'm not going to watch it. I am hoping I am hoping, and it's my faith in humankind, that people can see through this idiot and what he's doing. And now Holly's side's coming out going, friends of Holly have said that, and I've got some a bit of Holly gossip as far as Scoff's concerned, near to the end of this particular live. And you just think, oh man, leave it alone. Now, I looked at the newspapers today and yesterday and thought, they're awfully thin. There's not much news. And I've got a take on that, which I'm going to get to in a second. But I'm hoping that he, a bit like Barrymore, never appears on our TV, because I think the reason why Barrymore isn't on our telly anymore is because he couldn't. It just, when you were watching him on TV after Stuart Lubbock died in his pool, you just felt, hang on a second, something's not ringing right here. And when your instinct tells you that something isn't right here, your instinct is normally right. And I think this is with Schofield. So what happened to the young boy that we all know the name of, but seemingly we can't mention, in Carlisle? Because who paid his legal fees? Wonder who that was then? Didn't put that on bloody Castaway, did they? No. And how much was he paid off? Not to go to the ITV inquiry. Didn't put that on Castaway, did they? In fact, they didn't mention the boy that he was bumming on Playtime Thursday. Not one mention of him. Oh, I wonder why that was, Philip. Well, I'll tell you this, mate. The British public have very long memories. They remember what you were doing on ITV this morning. They remember what came out when you were caught out bumming some young guy. So we know. Now, I don't care about your sexual predilection, but seemingly you're a gay man and you've not had a relationship in 18 months since you came out on ITV. How does that work? Are you Arthur or Martha? Make your mind up. Pick a lane. It's all constructed. It's all managed. It's a narrative that's been put together by other people, and he just follows along because he wants to be famous again. And I told you this all the way along. I told you for like 18 months. I told you he was coming back to TV. I'm sure some people didn't believe me, but you can tell. And we'll get back to that manager. The manager told me, how can I put this delicately? My manager said, and I take his word, and it was his view. How he managed to get to that view, I don't know, but I have a pretty good idea. He said to me, he's not a nice person. Used the word nasty and used another word, which I can't repeat because it's 2024. But so where will we go from here with little Scof? Well, he ran into the sea naked. Oh, my eyes, my eyes. It was, well, you can tell that people don't give a flying about him because there's not really any social media activity. Him and his team are having to drive it all. So look, if he found love with a young guy and he was of legal age, not a chicken, he was of legal age, then just go off into the sunset and live happily ever after. But you didn't, did you, Scof? Quite. So I did a poll on this channel. Do you want Phillip Schofield back on your TVs? When the Daily Mirror front page says we want Phil back on our tellies. Oh, how quickly the Daily Mirror changed their mind. Because the poll on this channel was like, absolutely no fucking way do we want him back on our telly. Brilliant. So off you go, Phil. I mean, I'm sure you can't or haven't sold that flat that you used to have your Playtime Thursdays in. Have they managed to wipe down that leather sofa yet? Ray Norton, evening all. Evening, Ray. Karina Jane. Hi, Adrian and all. Evening, Karina Jane. And David Bevan. Evening, Reverend. So, hang on a second. Oh, Paulie Galtieri. I nearly missed that, Paulie. Pip Schofield's Castaway is unwatchable. Still blaming everybody else for being a groomer. That, best comment of the night so far. And do you know, Paulie, he was the one that says, I'm not a groomer. And the whole of the country went, what? Where did that come from? Because not all the facts were coming out, remember? Remember that... no, I better keep away from that legally. Ray Norton also says, Starmer gone by Halloween. Oh, do you reckon? Laura Sands, Adrian's glasses were a gift from Lord Halley. Brilliant, Laura. Brilliant. Yeah, Rowan. How did you find that out? Thank you very much. Alan says, hello, peeps. Hello, Alan. And Karina Jane says, Laura Sands. Chuckle, chuckle, chuckle. Penny Hen. Hello, everyone. Hello, Penny Hen. And Max Starr, never met an Arab named Sandy. You know why camels are called ships of the desert, don't you? They're full of Arab seamen. Napoleon Bonaparte. Hello, Adrian. How's your belly off for spots? Southern expression. The northern expression, Napoleon Bonaparte, is hello, Napoleon. How's your cock for spots? It's all at the same region. Penang counties. Keep that Battenberg in a lead case. Oh, it might be nuclear. Who was that? Was that Carlos and his brown Battenberg? Not something I'd admit. Martin Sullivan. I understand, Adrian. Brilliant, Martin. Debbie 75. Good evening, all. Ray Norton. Geoengineered hurricane. Oh, yeah, you can say that again, Ray Norton. But it's now down to a category 4. I mean, they can't even have, can't even do storms in America. Kamala will have said, obviously, it's all Donald Trump's fault. Martin Sullivan, Wiggy. Didn't he do Blue Peter? Wiggy. Who's Wiggy? Oh, sorry. He should change his name to Simon Groomer. I should have just looked at the comment before. Yeah, Wiggy videos. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. If he's not a groomer, why was he fidgeting with the vape when he was interviewed? He was absolutely bricking it. I mean, he definitely needed some Battenberg. Oof. Mind you, that's why they smoke vapes in it, because smoking cigarettes is awful. You'll have to wait a second, because I'm making gags up in my head while I'm reading what Alan's just written, and I'm trying to say what I was trying to say, and now I can't remember. It's all gone peak tongue. Clive Smith, evening, Clive. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. Alan says, Kamala too busy chugging beer on a chat show last night. Not the only thing she likes to get her lips around. Did I say that out loud? Yeah, we could do a sweepstake, couldn't we? How long's Starmer got? Now, at the very outside, he's got to be gone before the local elections next May. Because if he's not, then fill you in. Hey up, welcome. Big up Tommy. And is Kamala black? Well, it depends who she tells. It depends what she's audience appropriate. So when she's with Jamaicans and Africans, then she's black. When she's with her family, then she's Indian. So who knows? But as far as I'm concerned, she's a bloody alcoholic and she's a loser. But I will tell you this. Whatever's coming up over the next 4 weeks, and we are going to talk about this, whatever's coming up in the next 4 weeks, they're trying to say, so the way Diane Sullivan says before Christmas 2024, in the field, I wonder how Camel Toe feels about her dad being called Donald J. Harris. Bet she loves that. Yeah, Donald, Daddy. I mean, will Trump, when he wins, say, "Oh's your daddy now then"? Don Wigley would say, I'd say mixed race. Is a mum white and a dad's Indian, or is it the other way around? I can never remember. But it doesn't, for me personally, it doesn't really matter what skin tone you are. It's your character that gives me the strongest indication as to who you are, not your skin. And Trump won't win. Tom, which planet are you on, man? See, the dictionary for Starmer says bag of shite. Might have had the wrong spelling, but it's all the same. Ray Norton says, I bet the election doesn't take place in November. Well, we've got 4 weeks. November the 5th. November the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason and plot. And Kathy Harper, this is for Starmer. They'll wait until after the budget. I think that's when they're going to go for him, because they're trying every which way to get rid of him. But he's having to be very careful. Jewish wife, Jewish kids. So he can't be seen to be pro-Israel, because then the rabid anti-Semites in the left of the Labour Party will literally devour him. So he's trying to tread a very fine line. He's been a politician, basically. Ray Norton, Black Swan event. I think so. I think so. I mean, if you notice that absolutely everything that is in the news and works in the news and everything, every event is seemingly the lead up to a Black Swan event. Everything, all the storms are bigger and greater and more life-threatening than they've ever been. The wars are more life-threatening than they've ever been. Oh, we're on the verge of nuclear war. Oh, we're all going to die. Oh, the elite are trying to kill us. Oh, they've done it with the vaccines. Oh, all of that malarkey. And I sit there going, yeah, sit down, man, get a grip. Well, not, that grip. But they're trying to keep us in a state of fear. And it seems to be working. Let me get into what I wanted to say. And I'll give you the answer to everything now. It's a very simple answer. We are the news. Now, I'll say that to you again. We are the news. So you've got the politicians, the entertainment arm of the military-industrial complex, or Showbiz for uglies, and then you've got did he or didn't he, the diddler. You've got Hollywood and the music industry literally collapsing before our very eyes. So we are the news now, whether we're right-wing thugs or we're left-wing thugs, or we're not making the right decision with Brexit, or we're choosing the wrong political party, or we're choosing the wrong politician. It's all about us. I agree, Vixtex. Fear porn. It's all about us. The news is about us. Now, if you look at the newspapers, they're strictly shot. I've not watched this series because it's shite. I mean, I may watch some of it because I'm inured with a blind man dancing on Strictly. That is, to be fair, some effort. How can you dance ballroom at such a high level? I'm blind. Where's his dog? Martin Sullivan says, I want that to do a camel talk. Pennine Counties, it is sad that regional news from papers and long-forgotten radio stations has been removed. I know, Pennine Counties, I agree with you. But let's have a look at it. So we've got Showbiz and politics. That's everything. Look at the front of the Sun. It's for all of its faults, it's the biggest selling newspaper in this country. And it's just showbiz or politics on the front. It's not actual news. Oh, I say, there's stuff going on in the Middle East. Oh, I say, there's a storm just off America. Oh, I say. And they talk about utter shite, man. Maria Starmer. Martin, that's very funny. In the field. I do, and she doesn't eat Battenberg. Ooh, in the field. What are you up to? Derek Tomlinson, I hope Kemi gets the Tory leadership. Well, and I am going to get to that tonight, Derek. Rear Admiral Starmer, Ray Norton, he's a rear gunner if he was in the Air Force. So what's going on at the moment, and this is what they're trying to do, hopefully that doesn't drop. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make everything feel uncertain. So we have no comfort from certainty. So we have routine. We might get up at such and such a time and then have our breakfast, maybe with the kids or the wife or the grandkids or the grandmother, and get ourselves away to work. But even that, and then you get to retirement, there's no surety in life anymore. Well, there's two sure things in life, death and a nurse. But apart from that, there's no surety in life. Everything feels uncertain. It's like being in metaphorical choppy waters and somebody's nicked the engine for the boat. And the captain has abandoned ship. Now, normally we would look to our political leaders and we would say, oi, wrong, look after us, man. But there's been... and have you seen today, just as a little aside, have you seen today that the Labour Party want access to your bank accounts? Have you seen that? They want access to your bank account. They want to see what's in your bank. They can foxtrot Oscar. That is, whoa, that's not even Orwellian. That's like 20 leagues beyond Orwellian. they want to control your bank account? Or is it, well, we'll exchange it for digital currency? No, you bloody won't. It's my cash. Get your thieving fingers off. What is this? The Tinfoil Hat Club. Never heard so much bull in my life. Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, he pays you money and you take your choice. You can Foxtrot Oscar now and just go away. Because there's critical thinkers that watch this channel, not because what I say is gospel, but because we have lived life. We've experienced life. And we like being a community of critical thinkers and being awake and aware. So if you want to go and play with your kids, go and play with your kids. You and Diddy. And notice you haven't put your real name there. Well, Galtieri will try to take gold off us. But and I'll give you the heads up. After the election on November the 5th, what they're doing is they're creating a narrative so it looks like Camel Toe is going to win. Well, she's not, because the Americans, all the different hues of America, they don't want her anywhere near power. And neither does Joe Biden, because Joe Biden's come out and the dagger's drawn. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, president and vice president, he's having a go at her and she's having a go at him. But it's very gentle, obviously. But after the November the 5th, Donald Trump, who will win by a country mile, unless it's rigged again like in 2020, but I hope that the Republicans don't fall for that particular trick again. And Barack Obama turning out to be the devil, isn't he? Him and Big Mike. Barry Soto and Big Mike, who admitted to having children by an artificial insemination, or she came out with it the other day. Go to my X feed, because there's a video on there of Big Mike admitting that she needed help having kids. Obvs. So when Trump wins in November, and they will pull every stunt to make sure that he doesn't, and I will repeat this again, and I've said this all year, and I've been saying this since last year to you, and you know this. I wish Donald Trump a long life. The Black Swan event could have been his assassination, and it was a hair's breadth away. But when he gets in, November the 5th, when he wins, it's all going crypto. So Donald Trump is going to bring his own crypto in. They can wipe the debt in America. And they can't trade their way out of their trillions of dollars in debt. They can't. But they're going to, if they have crypto, if they have digital currency, then they can wipe all the debt off that America's got in one fell swoop. So that's what they're going to be up to. So from November the 5th, it'll look like, not necessarily Bitcoin, XRP maybe, or some of the smaller ones, their worth is going to go through the roof. Crypto, and you've got BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street, who are all monitoring now. They all own each other, and they're all just one kind of company, if I can use that word. I'm calling it now. We won't have to wait 5 years for another general election. Don Wigley. I agree with you. Oh, the Labour Party won't get a term. Well, they'll get one term. They'll get a go. But they're making such the budget in October. Robert Reeves. It looks like they're going to restrict. You can, and I'll give you some context to this. They're saying that they're going to restrict what you can withdraw as a lump sum from your pension. Stop you from having some money. Now, back in the late 90s, the MPs in Parliament, they're the clown house. They awarded themselves some massive pension bonus, and they were allowed to take, I think it was less than 100 grand, but they were allowed to withdraw 25% of it as cash immediately. And it was only 10 years later that they decided to give the man and woman on the street the same privilege. All the politicians had to have a go first. And you know that MPs, if they do serve 2 terms, they get whatever level they get to in Parliament, that's their pension for life. Don't tell you that, do they? And the other thing they're not telling you is that since July, Donald Trump and Camel Toe Harris has been given the briefing that the president would get. They get an executive briefing for 6 months, so that when they take office, whomever it may be, in January, the then president is up to speed and running, so that the America doesn't lag and take another 3 to 6 months to get up and running. So Donald Trump currently, Camel Toe Harris currently are getting the same briefing that President Poopy Pants is getting, although his might be later in the day when he gets out of bed for ice cream. Martin, yes I have. We've been looking at it, but maybe I don't do it on YouTube. Maybe I do it elsewhere. Can't say any more. Alan, I got my lump sum when I retired 4 years ago, and it was like pulling teeth even then. I know, because they don't... Look, when Klaus Schwab says you will own nothing and be happy, they don't want you to have money. They want you impoverished. They don't care about pensioners. They want, according to the Labour Party and their data, their calculations, 4,000 pensioners are going to die this winter. Chipping away, killing everybody off. Whether it's the vaccine, whether it's the winter, whether it's this or that and the other. I am going to talk to you about Pfizer tonight. As I say, we're going to talk about Showbiz and the Royals in America and the Clown House and Mike Tyson. I've told you about Curly Wurlies, but I am going to tell you about what is going on. And the privatization of the railways. And if you're a Thunderbirds fan, I've got some fabulous news for you. And I've got a unique and special poem that I'm going to read to you during this particular live. Now, remember that the elites are being aggressive and want to push out and roll out 15-minute cities, digital ID and crypto digital currencies. That's what they're after, I've told you. Klaus Schwab. And have you noticed how Klaus hasn't really put his head above the parapet when, well, certain things started coming out of Davos? Klaus Schwab, you're wrongin'. Not going to go into it. I did tell you at the time, but just in case I've transgressed anything legally, I'm not going to say anything tonight. But you need to regularly watch these lives on a Sunday and a Wednesday. I don't do this for fun, and I don't do it for bloody money. I don't make any. So all of this, whether it be the 15-minute cities, London, anybody? So I know that the TfL website, I had a look at it a couple of years ago, and TfL and the Mayor of London want you to use public transport. Well, obviously, because they want to get rid of the cars. Where was it? Was it Italy? And I saw this today, there were some figures whereby the sale of electric cars, Mercedes especially, they're going through the floor in Italy, going through the floor in Germany. Because people have worked it out. They worked it out, and I told you this over a year ago. This was the summer last year, where the insurance companies won't insure electric cars. Now, when the insurance companies, who are money-making machines, when they don't insure cars, then you know they're at it. They're at it. So whether it's they won't insure, and if you have an electric bike, an electric scooter, or anything electric with an electric battery on, they won't insure it if it's kept in your house. Why is that then? What do they know that they're not telling us? Because they go, boom! Like the buses. They never tell you when one of those blows up. So the Labour Party are like, oh yeah, we're spending hundreds of billions and trillions and millions, and we're spending the third, the debt of Mars to bring new buses into service. So I just sat back and went, oh, nice. So you spunking our money, not theirs, ours. It's not the government's money. It's your taxes that they're spending, these idiots. All 22 billion black hole, my hairy backside. So if they So what they do is they send 11.5 billion for net zero in Africa. Why are we looking after Africa? What's going on in Africa that these politicians are getting their grubby little mitts into? So out of the 22, 11.6 billion pounds is going to Africa for climate aid. Just send somebody to a couple of the tribes in Africa and go, right, that's the sun up there. We'll put some wells in for you. And apart from that, you can foxtrot Oscar. And then there's 9 billion being spent on wage rises. So if you add them together, that's nearly the 22 billion. And they put these clowns in charge of the money. Who's making it? Unless they're getting nice brown envelopes. Again. So it is a desperate attempt by the elite to have, or to erect, pun intended, a totalitarian state before too many people wake up. They don't want you going, oh, hang on a second. No. Can you imagine the locals? I had a look at some of my local councillors. This form came through the door the other day. And I looked at them and I thought, who are you? Who voted you in? Because somebody obviously did. Bloody Lib Dems. How does that work then? So they've got control of the local councils. And then I get another thing through the door from the local council saying, you know, your recyclable bin. Because we've got like 20,000 bins for this, that and the other. For food and cardboard and shite and garden. And now they've said the blue bin, the blue lidded bin, they're going to stop collecting it every week. They're going to go down to once a fortnight. And I thought to myself, hang on a second, why are they doing that? Because that's inconveniencing me. Does anybody watching this channel tonight know exactly what we're paying our council tax for? Because it used to be collecting the bins and that was it. Lauren Taylor, brilliant. 22 billion for carbon capture. I thought that's what trees do. They do, Lauren. Plant some more. In the field today, Khan bringing in ULEZ charge for electric cars on 25th of December 25. Merry Christmas all. Thank you in the field. Martin Sullivan. It's not rocket science. Ray. What's Ray said now? Brain surgeons becoming train drivers as the wages are higher. That's very clever, Ray. Very clever. So my local council is saying, oh, yeah, we're going to halve your cardboard thingy and recyclable bin, and now you're going to have to take it to the tip. Hang on a second. I pay thousands. Well, we, not me. We pay thousands to the council. What the for? I thought it was like £2,000 a year just to have your bins collected. And now they're not even going to do that. Utter, thick. Oh, the wise and the stupid. Acronym. Paulie Gallieri, carbon catchers for the coal power stations. We don't have any more. I know, Paulie. China has them, as do India. And they're telling us that we've got to stop the cows farting. We've got to stop China and India burning bloody coal for a kick-off. My neighbour across the road doesn't flatten cardboard. Her rubbish is always on the road. Oh, I say, Stuart. I mean, I would like to be... I am an upstanding member of the community, and I like to be conscientious. But holy Jesus, they're just... Not only are the national politicians bending us over and rogering us, now the local ones who are kind of power crazy. It's a bit like radio. You have your A team, you have your people on the radio, the professionals who know what they're doing and how they're doing it, and then you've got the B team who think that they're anoraks, think they know what they're doing, but it's not about... They don't have the personality. They're not the nationals. So the local councils are like, oh, we're politicians. No, you're fucking not. Give your head a rattle. And pick my fucking bins up once a week, you utter wrong-uns. So what do? Shove it in a black sack and give it to the tip and go, oh, yeah, I'm emptying my own bins now. Are you going to pay me? Swift removals. I live in Spain. Bins are emptied every night as they did in the UK in the 70s. They even ride the truck at the back between each job. Oh, I mean, I would be a bin man. I've been a backdoor man in my time, but I'd be a bin man if I could do that. Nobody dies, all health and safety shite. I agree. Swifty, I completely agree. I remember the days when my bin man in Town End Farm in Sunderland, they used to walk into our into our backyard, through my back gate, didn't bash me back doors down, but walked in, lifted a metal bin that had all kinds of stuff in. I mean, there was, you know, the whole family just chucking its stuff in the bin. They used to pick the bin up, put it on the back, walk back out, and then chuck the rubbish in the back of the bin, then put the bin back in. None of that. Oh, we'll put it on the back of the thing and the machine does the thing, and because it's bloody French. They've got no spine, the French. Martin Sullivan, I really believe we are living in a period of stupidity. I agree, Martin. Holly Ruston. Sorry, Holly, do apologise. My local council allowed the bin men a 4-day week because the office staff had been on it for a while. Now the bins aren't getting emptied, so they're also now employing agency staff to catch up. I will tell you a police force, and I know this for absolute shit sure. So they this police force wanted to save money. So they laid off, they offered voluntary redundancy. So all these people, some of the staffers, said, oh, I'll take that. Yeah, I've been in 20, 30, 40 years. Oh, I'll take that. Yes, thank you very much. And what happened? They lost so many people, they couldn't function. So they then had to tell the people that took voluntary redundancy and got the payoff to go to a particular agency and register with the agency, and they could have their old job back. That's the public purse they're spending. They're not telling you that, are they? No! Jesus, I just want my bins emptying, man. I remember the wheelie bins coming back in 1990 in Derby. Thank you, Paulie. Andrew James, when I was 6 years old, the dustman came indoors to help me mum with the rubbish. I had to ask if they were the Chippendales. Uncles, maybe, Andrew? Street sweepers, are they still a thing? I see them sometimes in city centres, but not on council estates. Jesus. Martin Sullivan, were they wheelie bin, Pauline? Ray Norton, old bins made of metal full of hot ashes. I remember those. I mean, we had a coke fire, not a coal fire, but you just used to put your hot ashes in the bin and let them cool down for a couple of days before the bin man came round. So these local councils, I mean, are they just inept, or are they just collecting a shit ton of expenses for doing stuff that I thought was in service of the local community? Or am I just being naive? From the chair, Eastbourne Borough Council have just going to close a local swimming pool, closing public toilets and closing mental health centres and disabled day centres. Complete rubbish. So from the chair, what are these local councils spending money on other than having Jaffa cakes for their tea breaks, for their meetings? The Wandering Star. The brother-in-law works for Viola. I thought that was part of an orchestra. His site in Oxford only recycled 34% of all waste. They went to Scania to see their new state-of-the-art EV bin wagon costing £216,000. Is Viola French? Nicholas says, I remember the bin man chucked my mother's bin. Her peg bag went in too. Oh, I say, Nicholas. They stopped, don't tell William. They stopped the wagon, opened the back and dug it out for her. Great blokes in the 70s in tune. I agree with you. I cannot disagree that we... My name is Adrian Allen and I'm reading this message from Martin. Have you been on the sherry, Martin? We just have... It's the tail wagging the dog. And the public just want service. We don't want disruption. We don't want uncertainty. We just want people that are in service for the local community. Now, the councillors, as I'm aware, I told you, my dad was a bit of a politician in Sunderland and was being lined up to be mayor of Sunderland at one point, which was just idiocy. But not that he couldn't do it, but he lived in his ward. And councillors should live in their ward. And if they live in their ward, they should be mingling with the people that put them in power. And as far as I'm concerned, how can you tell when a politician is lying? Their lips move. And that includes local councils. Utter wrong-uns. EV bin wagon will only cover 10 miles. It'll use all the battery to power the compactor. So why buy something for 216 grand that can't do the job? It defies logic. Even Stephen, in Sheffield, you have to separate the rubbish into... Hang on a second. Everybody's commenting. Let's see if I can do that or that. Separate the rubbish into different coloured bins, but I'm sure it all ends up in the incinerator. Can you not remember Bojo the Clown? At the beginning of lockdown, he was talking about recycling, and he said, and I quote, "It doesn't work. Don't do it." And everybody went, no, Boris, you didn't mean to say that, retract it. And he went, no, it don't work. He was walking along, just as he does. Loose lips sink ships. As far as Kamala Harris is concerned, loose lips sinks everything. And so why haven't they told us whether it works or not? And somebody said their local collectors only recycle 34% of all rubbish collected. What? Anyway. So I just want to say that a lot of the people that watch this channel are awake, because I can tell by your comments that you don't bugger about. You're well aware of what's going on in the world, and I know that you come here for some of my take on things, certainly the media and showbiz, but you also like some of the things that I tell you ahead of time. And I am going to give you something quite contentious around the royal family tonight, but we are the awoken on this channel, apart from the idiots that make idiotic comments, because, bless them, I've farted more intelligence. And the elite are too late, because what they did with March 2021 and the lockdowns and all the stuff that went around it, and again, I'm not judging anyone. A lot of people felt they were doing the right thing. But what they did was, people started asking questions, like, oh, hang on a second. And I talked to some people about other people on YouTube that try to get information out, and they say, what do you reckon? And I'm as avid a viewer of some people on YouTube, John Campbell, I've been watching him for years, and they're trying to besmirch his name because he's been right all along. Now, you can say what you want, you can have as many opinions as you want, but you weren't there in March 2021 trying to help and support other people. You weren't there putting your neck on the block saying, this is, wow, this has come out, and this has come out, and this has come out, and joining the dots. That's why he has millions of people watching him and subscribing to his channel. It's always the hindsight police. They always come out of the woodwork and go, oh, well, there's this and that and the other. Well, you weren't there putting your neck on the block. What's the old saying? An army of sheep led by a lion will always defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. I'll say that to you again, just in case it's a first. An army of sheep led by a lion will always defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. And politically, they just nose, trough, money. Benjamins, gimme the money. I've got two words to say to you. Michelle Mone. They haven't got the money back from her yet, have they? No, she's probably still sailing around the Mediterranean. Another 30 million in her arse pocket or down her well-heeled bra. So, are they ever going to get the money back from Michelle Mone? If they're not after Michelle Mone, then who else was making a shit ton of money? Our taxes. Who got the money? Michael Gove in the VIP lane. Anybody investigated that yet? That was 21, 22. We're now into 24, heading towards 25, and nobody's done anything. Politics, it's corrupt. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And now you've got the idiot, Starmer, who's got a fairly good control of things. So all I'm going to say to you is, please stay with the channel and hold on to your hats, because the next 4 weeks are going to be wild. Wild, I tell thee. And all I will say to you is this, and you know me because you've watched me long enough. J7 rewires. Moan should be in jail. And husband. Give us the money back. Just give us the money back. Hands up. Oh, it's an accounting error. Here's your money back. And then Foxtrot Oscar. Off you go. And I will say this to you now. Freedom is non-negotiable. It's not. I'm going to read this poem to you. Somebody sent it to me earlier, and I hope to do it justice. It's called The Beardy Bastard. It's a grumpy old boy. I know how that feels. An irascible old tart. I know how that feels. But I just want to read this to you because it's very insightful about how things are now and how things have been before. And I know that the politicians go, oh, the previous government of 14 years. Well, they are not in power anymore. Shut the up. Don't think that we're asleep. When you say the previous government, that's why we got rid of them, because we were awake. And it wasn't because we wanted Labour in power, we wanted the Tories gone. And we got them gone by fair means or foul. We got rid of the Tory party because we wanted rid of them. And Labour only got 20% of the vote. And they're like the cat that got the cream. Kamala Harris, anyone? I won't mention Angela Rayner. Anyway, it's called The Beardy Bastard. See if I can do it justice. Here I sit in my study come snug, with the Guardian beside me and a look oh so smug, gently stroking my inevitable beard and my intellectual glasses that help me look weird. I like to quote Marx and to those minions below from my intellectually earned house in leafy Marlow. Being at one with simply stop oil, those who refuse to drive a Prius make my blood boil. I'm pro-immigration. Open borders are right. It's not my fault that my village is exclusively white. Someone once suggested I was a hypocrite rich, coming from a navvy who on my show is shit. I went to uni where I developed my senses and campaigned that my country gave up its defences. I'm totally in favour of defunding the cops, and as far as the far right, well, it's the working class lot. I'm pro-Hamas, and it's all plain to see that they are unfairly treated. Ask Sky or the BBC. Last Sunday, I joined a massive great march filled with Muslims and homos, their brotherhoods hark. We shouted slogans at those who could hear. I stand with my brothers, the Gaza Strip queer. I scoffed at old soldiers heading to remember a war that they glorify every November. A war I could have stopped easily, you see, by inviting dear Adolf over for tea. So my inferior reader, please bow to my cult. I'm bearded, bespectacled, queer, and beyond reproach. The Beardy Bastard. Just thought you'd like to hear that. Sorry about my slip at the end. Nearly got it. Let's kind of showbiz, but sporty showbiz. I've been watching the promotion of the bless you. Martin reckons he's pro-hummus. Mike Tyson he has been one of the greatest, brutal fighters in the history of boxing. And he's taken on the problem child, a YouTuber, Jake Paul. And they had to get Jake Paul for the weigh-in a couple of days ago, I think. They had to get him to lose 38 pounds in 5 days. Holy Jesus. How did they do that then? Sweat lodge, get him working out, get him to do the cardio, but 38 pounds in 5 days. That's like £6, £7 a day. 5 sevens are 35, so it's over £7 a day. That's half a stone a day. So what kind of physical condition he's going to be in when he gets into the ring? But Mike Tyson is looking sharp. He's looking chiseled. He reckons he's going to knock Jake Paul out. Now, they're making a shit ton of money. There's like 40 million. One of them's being paid as much as that. So, you know, tens of millions is being paid for this spectacle on Netflix. And Netflix have the money to be able to do it. The world is going to watch. The viewing figures are going to be humongous. But Tyson looks in fabulous nick. I'm not talking Tyson Fury. I'm talking Mike Tyson, after whom Tyson Fury was named. So I will make a prediction. Tyson's not going to knock him out round one because he can't just walk out. You can see when they're kind of nose to nose. Thank you, Stephen. Sorry, thank you, Stuart. Bloody hell, need my glasses back on. Nobody's going to be knocked out round one. But it could be round 2 or 3. Everybody wants to see Mike Tyson knocking this kid out, like spark out. Now, just because Netflix want their money's worth, they're going to have a few rounds of boxing because it's a spectacle, it's an event. Everybody wants to see Tyson in his 50s, man. In his 50s. I mean, he'll have to have warm baths and cold baths and warm baths and cold baths for weeks afterwards because he'll finish the boxing and the adrenaline will be going and he'll be like, oh, yeah, that was not a problem. And then during the night and the day after, he's like, oh, Jesus, me bones. We've all done that, and that's just getting up out of bed. So I don't want Mike Tyson hurt. I don't think he will be. I think he's just a superb pugilist. And Jake Paul is earning tens of millions. Give the kid every credit. Yeah, Tyson sounds like something that Mr. Miyagi might say. But it's on November 15th. So we're going to have the two pugilists, Trump and Camel Toe, kicking off on the 5th, and then 10 days later, Tyson's going to absolutely muller. Thank you, Stephen. I mean, I personally believe, having done boxing training fairly extensively as part of my martial art, Tyson's too smooth, too slick. He's got too many skills. He's got too much experience. And I believe that Jake Paul is in danger. There's no other way to put it. He thinks he's clever. He thinks, well, you know, if I get paid 20 million, it'd be fine. Get paid 40 million, it'd be fine. And he genuinely in here believes that he's going to knock Mike Tyson out. No, he's not. Behave. And I'll guarantee you, Tyson will get him with a left hook. He knocked so many people out with a left hook. He's some specimen. Kind of talked about Netflix and TV. Can I tell you that today I finished off what I believe to be one of the best TV series in years. I've told you about this before. If you haven't, try every which way possible to get Slow Horses on Disney Plus. I mean, it keeps getting better and better. We're into series 4 now. They're only 6 episodes long, 46-minute episodes. Wonderful. It is the best thing on TV anywhere in the world by a country mile. Now, there's a guy called Jack Lowden. That's the actor's name. He plays Cartwright, who's a bit of a mishap. But this, and I won't spoil it for you. I'm not going to give you any spoilers. But I hear, somebody told me the other day, thank you, Dean, that Jack Lowden could be the new James Bond. He would make a great Bond. He would. I mean, he's a good-looking swine, so, you know. But he's a bit of a ginge. I mean, Elvis was a ginge. He just covered it up with a bit of boot polish. So, you know, Jack Lowden could take over as the new Bond. It would make sense. And I don't know what the bookies are. Stuart says, thanks, I was looking for a new show to watch. If you've not watched it at all, Stuart, watch it from series 1. I will tell you this, Gary Oldman is a joy to watch. He's just such an actor. And you believe that this part he's playing, you believe And as it goes along, it becomes, and what's her face? Kristen Scott Thomas. Oi, 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 oi. If I was 20 years younger. So Gary Oldman, who's the kind of central character, and slow horses are kind of the intelligence officers that are shite, and they're booted off. They're not sacked. They're booted away to kind of, desk jobs. And these characters in Slow Horses are just beautifully scripted. They're beautifully narrated by the actors. And Gary Oldman, he's always been a favourite actor of mine. But this series, how it's not scooping up every single award going, I've no idea. And it's based in London. So that's why you've got a load of English actors, including Gary Oldman and Kristen Scott Thomas, who, a woman in her 60s, is looking mighty fine. I'm being respectful here. She's looking fabulous. So Gary Oldman, if you can watch it, he's a joy to watch. He literally, you can't take his eyes off him. And he's brilliant. And I watched episode 6 tonight, and I didn't want it to end. I didn't want the series to end. I didn't want any of it to end. There's lots of twists and turns that you don't see coming. It's an amazing script, direction, story arcs within it. It's just fabulous. And because I've lived in London a couple of times while I was doing work in London, and LBC and stuff, I just think it's wonderful. It is literally the best thing on the telly. There's nothing on terrestrial TV in this country that I would swap for Slow Horses. There's nothing on Netflix, really. I don't really get time to watch it anymore. But if you're looking for something new to watch, and you have subscription to Disney Plus, or you can get a free subscription for a month, just binge watch. It's just the best thing. And it finished today, episode 6. Glorious. So let's get into, I know you want me to tell you about Starmer, the Harmer, and Starmageddon. So let's get into what's going on. Because my head was hurting today. I was trying to figure out the stuff, all the information that's coming at us. Now, I've said to you before that the news cycle is less than 24 hours. It's now 3 or 4 hours. The newspapers report in detail stuff that's happened the day before. By the time you get to lunchtime, that's old news. We're getting into the new news cycle. By the time you get to tea time, then you've got roughly the day's news. And then stuff will come in about 6, 7 o'clock to kind of fill the evening, and then we're back to the morning papers. That's how fast news is being generated at the moment. But we've had, I shan't be disingenuous, but we've had some clown from MI5. He's literally the head of MI5 setting up a new narrative today. He's saying the UK is facing plot after plot from Iran. Who is this clown? Has he passed his GCSEs yet? He looks about 15 with gogs on and bloody wingnut ears. What? And they trot him out. Oh, he's the head of MI5. Obviously intelligent, but plot after plot from Iran. So here's the narrative that they're setting up. And this will be Starmer. This will be the political classes. This will be MI5. Russia and Iran are going to be the bad guys. That's what it's going to be about. Now, the political classes, who are clowns, by the way, in this country, they just want the power. They want to be able to do what they want to do when they want to do it. But now we've got a two-party system that's bust. It's a busted flush. And the Lib Dems wouldn't spit on them if they were on fire. Ed Davey talked to me about the post office scandal. I haven't forgotten. And you've got the Tory parties who are finished. They're done. And I'll tell you, Kemi Badenoch or Robert Jenrick, they might become the leader of the Tory party, and we'll find that out over the next couple of weeks. Because even Rich Boy's all relaxed and loose because he's going to go, he's been the head of the Tory party, he's been Prime Minister, so he'll get a seat in the Lords if he wants it. And I watched him at PMQs today, and he was all like, yeah, I know what I'm doing now. Yeah, mate, it's taken you 2 years. You ruined the bloody country, and you weren't even elected by us. You weren't even elected by the Tory party faithful around the country. It was the parliamentary Conservative Party, the 1922 committee, who told all the MPs, right, vote for him, vote for him. We need to get Truss out. She's going to bankrupt the country. Alan, Farage wants a debate on Diego Garcia. What happened? They're just trying to squash reform. So this MI5, the political classes, Farage and reform, they want them gone. Because if Farage gets a tsunami of support, they're going to be the next government in 5 years. Labour's not going to get 2 terms. Don't be silly. They might talk it. They might say it in the mainstream press. The political chattering classes might go, oh, no, bloody reform. No, 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 no. We want Labour in for 2 terms. And bloody Klaus Schwab in Davos, he wants Starmer the Hammer, Starmageddon, in power. They wanted him to get Labour into power, and Angela Rayner is going to be the next Prime Minister. She's going to do all the nasty work. You think Starmer's bad? So Davos, the WEF, want Labour in for 2 terms, so it'll carry them beyond Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030. And C40 cities and 15-minute cities and digital currencies and digital ID. Or what was the phrase I heard? Was it individual digital identifiers? Because remember, the last Labour Party, they wanted you to have an ID card. Remember that? They were going to get ID cards through. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, no, because the public won't want that. You try and get that through and the public will remove you from power. And that's going to be exactly the same for the Labour Party. They are going to do the nasty stuff that NGOs, non-governmental organisations outside of this sceptred aisle want to bring in. That's what they're going to do. Labour's going to bring all the nasty stuff in. They'll be rewarded with free glasses and free suits and free skirts. And Taylor Swift will get blue light escorts. I've heard of those. You can buy them by the half hour. Blue light escorting after what was going on there then? Let's have the Met tell us. Bloody idiots. Susanna Reid asked Starmer the Hammer, would he like to apologise to the pensioners? And surprise, surprise, he didn't. Well, of course he's not. He don't care. He literally doesn't care. There's no empathy. There's no single bone of compassion in that man's body. He needs to foxtrot Oscar. I mean, I'm hearing rumours that he's not even living with his wife and his kids. They've not been living together since 2021. Oh, how does that work, Stakia? Come on, cough. Let's have the journalists in the mainstream media. Why can't we just have a little fun with Starmer the Hammer? Thatcher tried to introduce the ID card as well, if you remember. Tech Reality. Thank you, Tech Reality. And it's then tried to charge, I think it was 35 quid or so. Well, we've got our biometric passports. So why do we need digital identifiers? Individual digital identifiers. I think that was the phrase that was used. And we don't need them. And I've got national insurance numbers. I've got all kinds of bits wrapped up in the system that can identify me very easily. But I'll get back to MI5. Setting the narrative up, that's what these clowns are trying to do. But we can see through this now because we didn't see March 2021 coming. We didn't understand what was going on. We were told 6 weeks. We're only going to lock you down for 6 weeks. Yeah, rattle your pots and pans on a Thursday night. Give the NHS a clap. A few nurses I know like that. They caught it. Penicillin cures it by all accounts. Amalia has absolutely hit the nail on the head. A man with hair, that coiffured, is well sus. So you can always tell a heterosexual man because he wears his suit like a bag of shite. But, you know, gay men take a lot of pride in their appearance. Look at Lord Ali. Tech Reality. Yep. Kathy Harper, he is living with Ali. Nailed it. So somebody in the mainstream press ask Starmer, are you still living with your wife and kids? Because you told us the reason why one of your kids, your son, was at Ali's flat was because he needed some peace and quiet to do his GCSEs or something. And that's not even doing his dissertation for his degree. I mean, can you imagine in council estates up and down the land, there are kids, talented kids, that are having to just make do with the circumstances that they have in trying to do the best that they can with their studying and trying to get through their exams. But these privileged shites get multi-million-pound apartments and silence to go and study. Two-tier Kia? Anyone? We'll get back to MI5. So this narrative, the UK facing plot after plot from Iran, is utter bullshit. Utter bullshit. Because Trump's come out today saying, I want Iran to do well. I want Iran to do well. But I want to stop the killing. So MI5, some specky four-eyes with fucking wing nut ears telling us that it's Iran, it's the baddies, it's the fucking Russians, it's the fucking Iranians. Well, it's fucking not. Because when Trump gets into power, I hope this government sacks this idiot, head of MI5. I'm sick and tired of his bullshit. I've only seen him once, and that's enough. They're telling us it's the Russians and the Iranians. No, because Trump will sort it out. There wasn't a single theatre of war while Trump was in power from 2016 to 2020. And you know, when America is in a panshite and it's not making any money and it's trillions in debt, it can't trade its way out. It's about $500 billion worth of dollar short to trade its way out. It's 120% of their gross domestic product, GDP, if you can remember, as long as this is not, information overload. So the narrative that they're trying to promulgate is that Russia and Iran are the bad guys. British, American and Israel are the good guys. Why are we going to send soldiers to fight in the Middle East? Why is that then? They've not attacked us, anybody. And I will tell you this, categorically, it's all a crock of horse shit. Russia only wants energy independence. That's all it wants. But the Rothschilds want the central banking system in Russia, in China, in North Korea, in Hungary, Venezuela, and Iran. That's why they want to go fight them. Not because it's plot after plot. The Iranians are going to do stuff to us. Oh, what do we do? Well, honestly. Now remember, a month ago, the far right were the threat. And now, hang on, it's the far left? How does that work? Because what they're saying to us is, far left, far right, you do get choice politically, but you can either choose the Conservatives or you can choose the Labour Party. Well, this country's had enough. We're awake now. And it doesn't matter how much you besmirch Nigel Farage, and I'll tell you this. I was going to make a video about this. Nigel Farage is the only MP that I know in recent years. Yes, I know there's one or two that have been murdered. I'll grant you that. But Nigel Farage has been attacked separately twice. Remember the OnlyFans slut that threw the McDonald's thing at him? I hope she's making money from her OnlyFans. I mean, back in the day, your mother would sell Avon. Now, she'd get a man from Uncle badge out. He's been attacked twice in public. And remember that comedian, the fat one, the ugly one? She said, it's a shame it wasn't acid. And the mainstream media are having a go at Farage because, well, he's like, I'm taking advice from the Speaker's office. If I was Nigel Farage and I was being interviewed, I'd say to the fucking journalist, here, mate, how many times have you been attacked on the street? Oh, well, I haven't. How many times have you had stuff thrown in your face? How many times have you had comedians saying that it should have been acid? Now, wind your neck in, Foxtrot Oscar, and stop asking me puerile questions, twat. I'd start using bad language on GMB or LBC or whichever news organisation that think that they can attack somebody, and nobody in the run up to the general election has brought up this OnlyFans tart that chucks stuff in his face. Farage didn't know that it wasn't acid. Farage didn't know that he wasn't being tried to be murdered, and she kind of sashayed off in her fucking Ugg boots. It just makes you angry. The mainstream media are doing the bidding for the political classes, and I just wish they had not chucked away the afterbirth for the political classes, because they chucked the wrong part away. I back Nigel. I don't care what they say in this instance. Now, I'm sure politically he might be on some of the outskirts of what I believe should be right and pure. But the only way this country, because he's going to do a Trump, the only way that this country is ever going to get anywhere near what it used to be, which was mighty, it put the great in Britain, and is by getting rid of the current system and the political classes who are hanging on to power desperately. Tory party finished. Done. They're never going to get into power again. Never. Lib Dems, the Liberals, not the Lib Dems. Remember the Gang of Four? The Liberals turned the guns on our people 100 years ago. That was Churchill as a Liberal. He was not always a Tory. And now we've got the Labour Party. Look at the shit show they've created over the last month. And what they'll start telling us is, it's the left. It's how can it be the left when the left's in power? Oh, well, it'd been the last government. Yeah, the last government. They picked a fight with Russia and Iran. They'll start calling them an axis of evil soon. So we've had the far right thugs. And I've told you before, there's no such thing as far right in Hartlepool, Middlesbrough and Sunderland, where the government says, the far right's kicking off. They're about as far right as fucking Marxism. Honestly, I apologise for my language tonight, but it makes me so angry because I can see right through these clowns and what they're up to. But because everybody's awake now, people watch the news and go, it's bollocks. Utter shite. Next. Can we have a new head of MI5, please? He's only a civil servant. So watch out for a false flag attack on Iran. Watch it. Now, I've told you before, Gaza, the oil and the gas under the Gaza Strip and the East Mediterranean Sea is so vast and worth trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars to the Israeli state, as is the Ben Gurion Canal that is going to cut through the middle of the Gaza Strip into the East Mediterranean Sea from the Red Sea. When you hear about the Houthis, the Houthis are attacking ships. You know why they're attacking ships? Iran's funding them and Iran's giving them armaments. You know why we're getting this? Because the ships are going to come through the Red Sea, through the Negev Desert, through the Ben Gurion Canal into the East Mediterranean Sea. And do you know why they want that canal? It's because Egypt and the Suez Canal, is built on sand, and the Ben Gurion Canal will be built on rock. But it's because the military movements that they don't want the public to see or know, and or the Middle Eastern dictatorships like Egypt, Israel will be moving arms and armaments through the Ben Gurion Canal, and no one will know. And the Suez Canal is roughly making about $67 billion profit per year. So if you add the Ben Gurion Canal and the oil and the gas under the Gaza Strip and the East Mediterranean Sea, Israel will be fabulously wealthy. An independent state with its own source of income, it will be fabulously wealthy. Let's get on to these clowns, calling it the Tory party. Kemi Badenoch is now into the final two for Tory leader. Is she the DEI hire? She's got 42 votes. Robert Jenrick, 41. So I tell you what, women want equality. Get her in the octagon with Robert Jenrick. Tell him to get some fingerless gloves on. Fight it out. I mean, I've seen Starmer the Harmer. He couldn't harm anybody. Have you seen him on that punch bag? I could hit that punch bag with my schmeckle harder. I tell you what, if somebody gave him a slap, he'd soon start fighting. So let's have a look at this. The Conservative Party members are voting for their new leader. Hang on a second. They weren't allowed to vote for Rich Boy Sunk, Richie Sunak. So what they did was, the 1922 committee was so scared of Liz Truss and she nearly ruined the economy and the Tory party and their grip on power. So they said, right, we're not going to go to the country, the Conservative Party members. We're not going to do that because the last time they chose Liz Truss over Rich Boy Sunak. So they're not going to allow that mistake again. So they just went to the Parliamentary Conservative Party. There was no mandate from the country for him to be leader of the Tory party, thereby Prime Minister. None. But there's James not so cleverly. Oh, he'll be hitting the shandies tonight. Oh, I've lost again. James not so cleverly bit the dust. Now remember, this is not about the best candidate. What's it about then, Adrian? It's about the best outcome for the objective. So they want somebody who's shite. They want somebody who, I mean, they just want the worst possible candidate so that they make Starmer or Rayner look like Winston Churchill. They want Labour in power for 2 terms. Now, it's 24, 10 years, 2034. That'll get them beyond Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030. That's what they're after. So they get everything in. They get the 15-minute cities, the digital identifiers, they get digital currencies, they get everything. And they get their hands round your throat and or your bank account, seemingly, according to the reportage I've seen today. They don't care what you say. Shut the up. Do as you're told. You'll own nothing and be happy. And this Labour Party are not looking at how to benefit the country. Don't be stupid. It's all about the best outcome for the objective. So they want a weak leader for the Tory party. They don't want somebody who's going to be strong and get Labour out of government or running the government for 2 terms, for 1 term. It's got to be weak. Sorry, I'm about 6 or 7 paces ahead of what I'm saying, and my brain and my gob are not working in sync. So watch the attacks on anyone outside the 2-party system, because that's coming. I mean, I saw Ed Davey in PMQs today. What the actual? So they've not got any Scottish representation now, and it's now the Lib Dems will help the Tories, or they'll help the Labour Party, and we've got 60-odd seats. So Reform got 4 million votes and 4 seats. That's how corrupt the political process is in this country. Starmer, he's gone. He's finished. He's an insignificant man walking backwards into obscurity. And before the elections, he's gone. That's all we need to say. He's gone. It doesn't matter when. He's gone. He's not going to lead the Labour Party into the next general election. He's not. And everything else is entertainment and dressing. Tory party, I'll tell you this now, in my view, it's finished. It's redundant. It's over. It doesn't matter how much they thrash about. It doesn't matter how much they try and look clever. They're finished because we've seen through them. Some people still hate Thatcher. In the northeast of England, you can't even mention her name. She's so hated. And that was 40 years ago. This lifetime. And I will tell you what's going on. Net zero is the new religion. They're going to use that to crowbar anything they want in. Now, I will also tell you this, because I'm sure you've forgotten about this. Remember the online safety bill that was given royal assent in the King's speech in Parliament? It was given royal assent. And then Labour got in and went, whoa, 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 we'll have that back. Yeah, we'll have that back. So they'll start and use the reportage about Keir Starmer. They'll use the reportage about Catherine, Princess of Wales, which we will get to in a moment, and on all the royals and all the stuff that the political classes don't want you to talk about. They're going to use it to hammer anybody that has freedom of speech, freedom of thought. You'll have the thought police, the speech police. You'll have any which way. You're going to have the World Health Organization. They are going to be the Orwellian Global Ministry of Health, or, if you want, Orwell Ministry of Truth. So the World Health Organization, we battered them back in the summer this year. They're going to come back again because they want one organization that looks like they're looking after our interests. No, they're not. They're looking after Bill Gates' interests. It's been proven time and time and time again. Corruption knows no ends in this world. So net zero is the new religion. Forget the kiddie fiddlers in Rome. Forget any other religion or faith. It's all done, finished, over. God, does it exist? Let's have that debate. I am merely a fractal of the ineffable, experiencing itself as consciousness. Got nothing to do with religion. Wikivideo says the WHO needs to be shut down. I agree. But remember, if net zero is the new religion, they're going to control the public's energy, food, travel, and more importantly, freedoms. So Russia is fighting for energy independence in Crimea, in the Black Sea, in Afghanistan. Russia went into Afghanistan in the 80s because they knew there was just a shit ton of oil and gas under the Caspian Sea. 9/11, Putin was at Bush's ranch within 5 days, organising the agreement to extract the oil and the gas out of the Caspian Sea and run a pipeline down to a warm water port from the Caspian Sea through Afghanistan and the Tora Bora mountain range, which they said, oh, Osama bin Laden's in the Tora Bora mountain range, so we'll bomb it. He was a CIA operative. They created all of these bases and stuff in the Tora Bora mountain range, and then they bombed all that to get rid of the evidence, but also to put the pipeline through the Tora Bora mountain range, through Afghanistan, down to a warm water port in Pakistan. And do you know all these commentators on YouTube and on all these news organisations? They have not got a fucking clue, because they weren't there 25 years ago. They were still wiping their asses. They still do, bless them. They haven't got two IQ points to rub together, but it all started with the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea, and I bet you don't remember Slobodan Milosevic out of Yugoslavia. He told the Americans to go and fuck off because they wanted the oil and the gas exactly the same as the Caspian. They wanted it out of the Black Sea. They wanted it through to Germany to power the German economy. And now the German economy is fecked, to quote a technical term. So that's why Putin's really clever. He wants to control the gas and the oil so that Russia always has energy independence and can sell the gas and the oil around the world. And then nobody can attack Russia, and they can't get the central banks in Russia. The Rothschilds will be apoplectic with rage. Can't get to China either. So they'll do with Iran. They've got Syria. Hungary is kind of floating about, as is Venezuela. And all the other countries that they want, North Korea, they can be brought on board. So in conclusion, and then the people said, no. The end. All I ask you to do, and help me with this channel, is keep exposing the truth. Keep telling me in the comments how you feel, what is affecting you, and the things we need to look at. Because I'm happy to do research for you. I'm happy to do it. I know how to do it, love doing it. So I want you to keep exposing the truth. I want you to keep sharing the truth. Our lives depend on it, because this is going to be a really weird 4 weeks leading up to the American presidential election, and then leading up to 2027. I think that's the finishing line. They want everything in place by 27. They don't want to get to 2030 and be worried about what they have to do. And you think I'm being dramatic? As far as I'm concerned, the Labour Party, the political process is dead. It's been dead for 20 years. But we didn't see it because we didn't have the event in 2021 that suddenly went, holy so that's happened and that's happened and we've got to stay in the house. We can't go out. Oh, we're only allowed out if we go out training or we walk the dog. And people's mental health suffered. These people don't give a flying about you. They don't. They don't care about your mental health. They don't care about your kids or your grandkids or your family or your partner. They don't give a flying. Just keep giving them your taxes. Keep busting your ass. Keep... So what are your options, I hear you ask? Community. Community, community, community. Get to know local people. Look, they don't bite. Well, unless you ask them. Unless they've got an XL bully dog, then... But just, you know, I walk around and maybe I just look like some kind of weirdo. But I say hello to people. In the Northeast, literally, I was brought up with saying hello to anybody and everybody on the street. That's where we need to get back to. We've already sussed these clowns in the Pink Palace in London. We've sussed them. And get on X. So you know I've not been silenced. So I can say things to you that I can't say on here. Sometimes I have to be careful. But X, whoa, I'll just put it out there. Let's talk about America very quickly. We're getting into storm season. Now, thank you to whomever it was that told me. Stuart says, you've opened my eyes to a lot of stuff, Adrian. You've turned me into a critical thinker and you helped me understand and realise a lot. Thank you for that. You're most welcome, Stuart. Lottie Martin, yes, people are scared since the 2000s of saying hi in the street. Never mind. I can't... Look. I completely understand your concerns. Because the streets of this country, and if you look at it as a critical thinker, maybe that's what they want us to do. Be scared to walk around the streets. Certainly be scared to walk around at night. But I would rather just walk around and say hello to people. Because you don't know how they're suffering. And you know, just being pleasant and say, morning. Honestly, people look at me as if I'm a fucking raj. I'm an idiot. I'm a weirdo. I don't care. Because it'll just be that one person that's walking down that's having a really shit day. And you just smile at them, whether it's an old one, but you just smile at them and go, morning. It makes everything to them because they may not have seen a human being for days or weeks. And you don't know how they're suffering. But don't bring yours. Maybe I am a nutter. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm the nutter on the bus that people don't want to sit next to because I'll sit and talk to anybody. Me. Even when I'm on holiday. Mrs. Allen, she's like, oh, God, he's talking to somebody else. And like we were out recently and I was on some street in some country somewhere. And this guy appeared from nowhere. You're a tourist. You're a tourist. I said, fan my brow. Have I just met the equivalent of Einstein in this country? How did you work that one out? Oh, you come to my stall. You come to my stall. I said, no. This is how we work. You've come to me to get me to come to your stall while my mates are ransacking your stall and nicking all your gear. Are they? I said, well, who's manning your stall then? Oh, bye-bye. And off he went. Now, look, I might have been mousing him, but it's a sport. He didn't come up and I didn't go, oh, yeah, go off. Look, he might have had a tough day. He doesn't want me getting up in his grill. And, this is... So at the beginning of this live tonight, I said to you that what we've lost is our ability to either laugh at ourselves. We've lost the ability to find fun and funny in things. We're not allowed to have a national sense of humour. What the actual? Who's decided on that? I mean, some of these comedians, Amanda Hart, now bless her, some people might like her, you pay your money and you take your choice, but I think she's about as funny as a dose of the runs. Why are we being told that we can't have a sense of humour? Now, if you went down to the pub and they're going to get rid of those so that you stay in the house, and when you meet strangers, do you kind of chat to them at the bus stop? I do. And sometimes you catch somebody's eye. Exactly. Paul Morton, you've hit the nail on the head. You can't laugh at anything now in case anyone else is offended. It's bollocks. I agree with you. I mean, I don't stand there and do a comedy routine with people. I'm pleasant. Pass the day. Oh, weather's shit. Yeah, I agree. Or just morning. I mean, I wish I wore a hat, because then you could say, what's a tit for? Fucking. But let's look at America, because America is really, 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 really. So let's do politics and showbiz and Hollywood. We'll kind of go around that, because I don't know whether... I told you a year ago, I remember telling one of the family who was a huge Justin Bieber fan, massive. And I said to her, have you heard what P. Diddy was doing to Justin Bieber when he was a kid? No. Told her. Oh, no, that can't be real. No, that's not right. And now there's videotapes going around Hollywood, seemingly, of P. Diddy and Justin Bieber in the same video doing whatever they're doing. I'm not going to tell you here, but you can use your imagination. 9 years old. P. Diddy's done. He's done. But he's been doing this for over 30 years. Seemingly, he banged Usher, if you know the singer, and they had to take him to A&E, emergency. As Cat Williams calls P. Diddy, the big dick deviants. And there's all kinds of stuff coming out now. I mean, even poor Piers Morgan. I told you that he's part of the establishment now, Piers Morgan. Holly Ruston, naked leapfrog. Depends what he's spearing. Holly. Lottie Martin, it's the 30 years that's very strange. I know, because people in power were aware. Now, if you look at Epstein was getting the kids, the girls, and everything for the powerful and the wealthy, the royals, and then just filmed them, and then just said, well, I've got you shagging this girl and doing this and doing that, and this has happened and that's happened. It's now coming out so that they could just control the powerful. Whether it's Beric or the Democrats in America, the Democratic politicians, and all the lawyers, and or Bill Gates. How many times was he on the Lolita Express? Well, his missus divorced him because of it. Didn't want anything more to do with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. She'd had enough. Go off, Bill. You dirty old pervert. My view. So... we've got the political process going on in America, and it's just wild. It is wild. Not only did America not learn from, well, somebody shooting their president in Dealey Plaza in Texas, and that's been going on for nearly 60 years. I haven't got an answer. Oh, it was so-and-so and so-and-so. I'm a patsy, said the shooter. And then it turns out it was Woody Harrelson's dad from the drains on Dealey Plaza up at the presidential parade. Motorcade. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. And then Tricky Dicky. Corrupt as they go in the 70s. And they tried to take Donald Trump out with an assassin. And Trump today was saying that one of the shooters had 6 mobile phones. It had some apps on there belonging to foreign powers. He wasn't going to name anybody. He couldn't name anybody. He said, but he's in perpetual danger, certainly getting closer and closer to the presidential election. He recognises that. And the FBI haven't done anything. The other shooter had 3 mobile phones with varying apps that the FBI can't get into. What? Now, let me tell you this for fact. That is bullshit. We have organisations in this country, in Blighty, England, Great Britain, United Kingdom, however you want to describe it, that can get into any phone, any laptop, any electronica you care to mention. Because that's what they do. And somebody in the FBI's told Donald Trump, oh no, can't get into the phone's done, mate. It's horse shit. That's what it is. But Trump knows this. He knows. They've got the mobile phones. They can't interrogate it. And the FBI and the CIA, because they don't want him in power. He said he's already going to do away with these three-letter organisations when he becomes president. Whoa. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Black Swan season. Welcome. It's going to be wild. Now, let's get to Hollywood and the music industry. So, having played soul, black music, rap music from 1982 on the radio, it's kind of morphed into something else as we got into the noughties. It was getting very violent in the 90s. Tupac got shot, Biggie got shot, and everybody had to go, whoa, Suge Knight is now in jail. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, please bear with me, because I'll do a kind of Janet and John for you, because it might not be your music of choice. But let me tell you this. Black music in America, they don't want gay guys kissing each other. They don't. It's a given. So there's Kevin Hart. Comes out, and it's on my X feed. If you go over to X and subscribe to me, just look at all the, I mean, I'm doing kind of 10, 20, 30 posts a day on X. You look at all the stuff that's important that I've put on there. It's all videos and pictures. Kevin Hart kissing Diddy. His wife left with his kids the next day because Hart didn't have an excuse for it, because the picture was that explicit. You can't argue it away. He's got his tongue down P. Diddy's throat. His wife's left him. And now you've got all these black rappers who are going, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, well, yeah, I went to the parties. Yeah, I went to the parties. But no. Nothing happened. And people are turning around and going, because we're all awake now. So why didn't you say anything at the time? Dunno. Well, you should have said anything. You should have said something. There's all these kids and Diddy's and look, people are taking the mickey because he had seemingly 1,000 bottles of lube or baby oil or whatever you want to call it. No, it was laced with shit. It was laced with liquid ecstasy. But people just got on that there was 1,000 bottles of baby oil in his house. One house of his. No, it was laced with liquid ecstasy so that they would give them massages and the skin would absorb the MDMA, or what you want to call it, Molly, ecstasy, whatever. Now, Hollywood, there are tapes, and go to X again, my profile on X, there's a specific video where somebody has said that they have videos of very, very, very famous people doing stuff that they shouldn't do. And they're going to pass them on to the feds. They're going to pass them on to the law in America. Diddy's done. The diddler, he's done. And there's this, is it Jaguar Wright? Whoa, she's coming out with some stuff. Again, it's on my X profile. I can't put it on here. But she's naming names. She went on Piers Morgan yesterday, I think, and started naming names. And Piers Morgan's had to apologise to a couple of them. But why is he apologising? Because they've got video evidence of these people. Why is he apologising, pussy? There's video evidence of these people. It's going to bring all of them down. It's going to bring the whole music industry down. They're talking about musical execs, label execs. They're talking about artists. They're talking about female artists, more importantly. And they're talking about the rappers doing stuff that, and as I've said to you before, I don't care about your sexual predilection. Do whatever you want, so long as it doesn't involve kids, old uns, animals, or anything illegal. Fill your boots. Because you're not actually getting what life's all about. It's not about your ego. It's about being in service of others. Piers said he'd only apologise if he's wrong. Well, he's apologised, Stuart, from what I've seen today. Footballer's died aged 31 after being found in his home unconscious. And Hollywood, these tapes are being sold in Hollywood because, well, they want to have a look. They want to have a gander. They want to see who's in them. And there are some really famous names being named. Now, I'm not going to do the names on here. Go to my X and subscribe because it's all on there. Naming names. And Jaguar, right? Oof. I'm going to finish, I think, what time we got? Yeah. I'm going to do something about... So, I'm going to give you this... there's been a hidden Pfizer report that's come out today that shows up to 40% more heart conditions in the vaccinated. It's fact. This is a hidden Pfizer report that shows up to 40% more heart conditions in the vaccinated. For 6 months, the MHRA and other national regulators have been sitting on a Pfizer report about COVID vaccine safety. Worryingly, the abstract doesn't look good at all. So I'll give you some facts. The vaccinated cohort have at least a 23 to 40% higher risk of some heart-related conditions, and the risk is higher than in Pfizer's previous report, as in it is increasing over time since vaccination. Now, I'm not going to judge anyone. I just hope that there is a way of turning this around. I want to talk about, where's it gone? I wanted to talk about privatization of the railways. I want to give you some facts and figures very quickly. Privatisation of the railways has been a failure. Margaret Thatcher didn't want to privatise it. John Major did. In 1994, when British Rail was broken up into more than 100 companies, it was one of the most efficient in Europe. It had one of the cheapest fares per mile in Europe and 86.4% punctuality rate, with 1.7 billion in annual subsidies. The ideological breakup of British Rail resulted in fragmentation of the system, neglect over the long term, multiplication of administrative structures, 100 board of directors, accounting systems, HR systems, auditors, which pushed up the cost. Worse, there was no real competition. I have to pay whatever they demand. I had to stand all the way from my home. I've travelled from... I went to a meeting in London and I travelled down from Edinburgh and I stood all the way. And then when I tried to get out of London, there was problems on the railway. I think there was some problem at Newark. We could barely stand up all the way back up to Edinburgh. That's how bad the railways are in this country. Now, 30 years... no seats, Wi-Fi non-existent. 30 years after John Major's privatisation, train companies now have a punctuality rate of 70.1%. Originally, when it was privatised, 86.4% punctuality rate. It's now 70.1%. The UK now has one of the most expensive train fares in Europe. And last year, the subsidy, remember, before it was privatised, they had an annual subsidy of £1.7 billion. Now, the last financial year, it was £11.9 billion. So in my view, any move to curtail privatisation is welcome. Bring it back under the operation of the nation. And it'll be better for the nation. Couple of things. Here's some showbiz. I shouldn't really tell you this, but I'm going to because it's funny. You know, Heart Radio. Seemingly, it's being terrorised by a phantom farter in the newsroom. And things got so bad in the Leicester Square office, they sent a full email around to the organisation, and an office email addressed the culprit. It read, "Hello everyone, very quickly, and I feel bad to be saying this, but people need to stop passing wind on the floor. It's becoming unbearable and unkind. Use the bloody toilet." Heart? Would you believe it? And you know this, I said at the beginning of this live, the Scof cast away, cast off, or bugger off, one of the two. Holly Willoughby was in the audience at Abigail's party at Stratford East on Wednesday when Phil was cast away on Channel 5. She was in the audience at Abigail's party, Stratford East, whilst young Phil was knocking his pipe out and running around naked. I know which one I would have preferred. So thank you for your indulgence this evening. My name's Adrian Allen. The next live, I'm going to try and make it up on Sunday. I have something that I have to do all weekend this Sunday. And that doesn't finish till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm going to try and make it back for 8 p.m. for a live. Please check and see if I've uploaded it. If not, it's going to be next Wednesday again. And then that's it. I'm not going away anywhere else. I'm not going to do anything else that's going to affect the lives easily for 6 months. I'm not even going to Davos in January. So please make sure if you are on Twitter or X that you follow me, because there's a lot more truths being processed there. I will do my best to do it here. Terry Wookfoot, I agree. And thank you for your subscriptions. Don't forget, before you leave the body of the cook, to smash the likes before you go. Thank you to the legendary Battenbergers. I will give you a mention on the next live. Please make sure that you're subscribed. I am in contact with people, and they do say sometimes that they lose the subscription. Thank you for being here this evening. Really enjoyed it, and thank you for your indulgence. My name's Adrian Allen. This has been the Wednesday sermon, almost. This has been the Wednesday sermon. Please take care, be well, stay safe, and don't forget the Battenberg.